Hey guys, the name of today's session is the mother wound. Now, what is the mother wound? The mother wound is something like the father wound. Let me just give you one example of how I see the role of a father and a mother. I mean, that's just me, that just helps me visualize things. Okay, to me, the role of a father in a boy's life, in a child's life, but we're talking about boys now because this is about men. So the role of a father in a boy's life is like the skeleton in the human body, right? Without the skeleton, there's no stability, there's no strength, this is just not possible. The bones, the skeleton, the backbone, and all the other bones, that's the father. That's what the father provides. And the role of a mother is pretty much everything else. The muscles, the organs, the nerves, the senses, all this in the physical realm. That's the mother. She provides the movement. The father provides the base. The mother provides the movement, the perception, the ability to feel. That's how important a mother is. That's how much they need each other. A mother is vital. A good mother is vital. Now, taking into consideration the fact that there are no perfect fathers, because no human being is perfect. We're all broken. That applies to mothers too. So the mother wound is that lack or that harm that is come between you as a son and your mom. And of course, a lot of this come out of her own brokenness or the brokenness of the age we live in, the busyness or all that. So what does the mother offer or should have offered her boy? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is comfort. Comfort. A little child, a little baby that cries for some reason, for some baby reason, in his cot needs the touch of a mommy. I know I've got a daughter and it's not the same, especially when she was smaller. As soon as she, her mom takes her, she's just so peaceful. And I'm like, wow, what am I not doing right? No, that's not it. Mother is a mother. So if you have not been comforted by your mom, chances are you've developed a lot of needs, unfulfilled needs, and maybe you're comforting yourself through some numbing, medicating things or substances or people or sex, whatever. But that need for comfort can only, should have only been, satisfied through your mom. All is not lost. There is hope. There's hope for healing. But first we need to deal with the brokenness. And the other thing is self-worth. A mother is supposed to bestow upon her son a sense of self-worth. Wow, I'm cherished. I'm somebody then. I'm loved. I must be great. I'm not talking about pride or narcissism. I mean that in a good way. Just like the father provides that sense of security, identity, stability and strength. You know deep down who you are. You know how strong you are. You know you're powerful. But if the mother doesn't do her bit, you always be lacking. You always be reaching out, especially towards women. To women. That's how the whole Playboy image comes. Just grasping to mommy. I want my mommy back. I want that comfort of a woman. One woman is not enough. No, let's move on, because that need just won't be satisfied. Won't be fulfilled. Self-worth, yes, self-worth. That feeling of being loved and cherished and comforted. And what is very important, especially in the early teens, is that, and that's, by the way, that's very rare today. Not because moms are bad, because men don't do their job. You see, I have no problem with the women. I have no problem with the mothers. If anything, they're doing a great job because they have to fulfill both roles. Nowadays, what does the man do generally? Not much in terms of parenting. Not much, just providing the money, if that at all. And the woman has to attend to the needs to the children, school and all that. And the man is just there, but he's not really. So the poor mother, she needs to be everywhere, but she can't. She just can't. She can't replace her husband. And even physically, with the way she's exhausted all the time, even if she could, it would be impossible. And so it's not the mother. The mother wound is hanging on the father wound. So if the next generation has dealt with the father wound to a degree, then the mother wound will diminish. Things will not be the same. But because men are still passive or violent, because men are not feeling their role in the upbringing of their children, then the mother wound will be as it is now, all over the place. See, if a mom is to release her son into his masculinity, she needs to release him into something. But if there is no father to take him and introduce him into the world of men, then how and why? You don't want to release your son to the street gangs or to just being lost or just endless hours on the internet and smoking weed and all that. Just aimlessness. She cannot release you into that. So there's not much that she can do unless a man steps in, unless the father or someone that plays the role of a father steps in. Then she can see, oh, okay, my son is becoming a man now. I need to let go. And that's probably the hardest thing for a mother to do. Now, because I'm writing about this chapter on the mother wound, I have a subtitle saying respect and release. See, a mother needs to value and respect her son's otherness from her, because he's another. He's male. He's a man. She needs to see this masculinity, this strength, and bless it and release it, and say, okay, well, I've done my best. I'm no longer your mommy. Now you're no longer my child. Now you become my son. You're always gonna be my son, but things will not be the same between us. And that's the most painful thing for a mother to do. And that's why most mother wouldn't do it. And well, I don't blame them, of course, because most of the time there is nothing to release the son into. So respect and release. I can share a story with you. I've got plenty of stories. Not because my parents are much worse than your parents. It's because I've fought these battles, and I'm still doing it. But I've examined all these things for myself. I can't lead any other people into that battle unless I've been there and I've fought it. So, for example, when I wanted to feel like this, let's say I'm 10 or 11, I wanted to feel like this man. Okay, I'm gonna be like the people that I like, these male role models. Yeah, my father's face just come to mind, and for better or for worse, this is one of them, has been one of them. So my mom she used to consciously or unconsciously diminish my manhood. I would go out and the older children, all the boys will be kicking the ball on the street right next to where we live, and I remember putting my jacket on and going out to join them, to join the older boys, and then my mom will she'll shout out after them, hey, there is a little one coming to join you, or something like that, in a way that it's not a young man coming to join you. It's that little one, the one that belongs to me still. And of course, where was my father? Why couldn't he say to her, okay, he's coming with me now, I'm gonna show him this, I'm gonna show him that, and slowly kind of take me away? He didn't. You see, in the older cultures, the warrior cultures, when the mom was taking from the boy went out with the man in the woods, and they did their bit with him, hunting and physical training and spiritual things, whatever, but he found his own way with the man. When the man returned, I read that in a book somewhere, I don't remember what book, but it was a book about men. When the man returned to the village, the mother, this is in some African village, the mother pretends not to know him, and she asks to be introduced to the young man. You see? And then they start their life again, but he no longer lives with her. He's got his own hut, his own house, and he's still her son, but he's a grown man now. And if a mother wants to have a healthy relationship with her son, she needs to go to that process of releasing. And unfortunately, a man needs to be present, or a society of men, or a little community of men that will take him. Not the street gangs, not the aimlessness of today's youth. There has to be something real. Unfortunately, when that doesn't happen, we see that overbonding. And many mothers, including my own mom, she was trying for, I don't think she's given up yet, to control me and calm me, and in a way kind of communicating to me that you still belong to me. I know grown men in their 40s, that live in another country and their mom call them every day. That's a way of control. That's a way of saying, yes, you're still mine. And actually, this man need that. This man need that. Now, I didn't have the exact same problem, but what I had, I'll share with you. It's a very personal thing, but that's my mission. I need to open up in front of you so that you can see this is real. Every time when I would get close to a girl, because I fell into that playboy trap, I'll be always searching for the next thing. I didn't like a relationship. Why would I? I like the buzz, the kick of it. So I'll be searching, including the internet, just trying to arrange for that next buzz, for that next person, that next mysterious person. For her to be mysterious, she has to remain a stranger. As soon as we get too close. So the first woman that I lived with, something strange happened. I was like 17 when I first got together with her, and then we started living together when I went to uni, which was, I was like 19. I was 19 years old. When we started living together, something strange happened between us sexually. That sexual intimacy was lost. And I couldn't explain it to myself. Why was it that at the beginning things were really good when we were kind of strangers to each other, more or less? As soon as we started living together, things were not the same. In fact, I'll confess to you, things of that character started to look repulsive to me. So of course I started cheating on her. I was my first year in university. Life was big. I started cheating on her, and after a while the relationship kind of fell apart. Long relationship. But what was to my horror, I realized that I've gotten myself into the same thing after I got together with the woman that is now my wife. And I really didn't want to do that. Thankfully, by that time, I've developed enough awareness and I started dealing with these things. And now I've got a marriage that is totally different than what I had. But I've noticed that same phenomenon with my own wife. The person that I pledge my life to. The person that's different than all others. So what is it? Why did that happen? Well, I think it happened because as soon as a woman gets close to you, intimately close to you, living in your house, living with you, sharing everything with you, you associate her with mommy. Now, who wants to sleep with his mommy? I don't. To me, my mother was just too much in my face, and in many ways she was repulsive. I admit to you. In order to honor her for her heart, for who she is, which I do, I have to admit to you that ugliness and darkness between us. I didn't like my mother at all. I really didn't. And all these women that got closer to me, I had to push them away and go look for something else because of the idea of she's my mother now. No, you don't want to sleep with your mom, do you? So you go away and look for a real woman, not for a mother. For years, that first girlfriend of mine actually played a good role of a mother. She was convenient. I didn't want to get rid of her. I actually felt love towards her. But it was not real love. It was not that passionate love. And I'm not calling love that erotic buzz that you get in the beginning of a relationship. I'm talking about deeper things, which goes beyond feeling. But for me, she was mommy. And I had to pull away from mommy and go search for a real woman, but then come back home and she's there and she cooked me or, I don't know, bought me a book or something. And that's what a mother does. And that's what I was looking for. I was a boy, too over-bonded with his mom, unable and unwilling to break free and just being stuck, really. How many men are still boys that are over-bonded with their mommy and being stuck? Do you know how many issues are coming out of this? Including, if I hadn't dealt with these things, if I'm not dealing with them now, I would not have been able to have a marriage at all. Because who wants to live in that? I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to be living like that for many years. And even if my marriage did survive, it would have been something bad. My wife's womanhood and femininity would have diminished, where my instinct would have carried me somewhere else. That's sad. How many people live like that? They think, well, that's how I am. That's how things are. This is not how you are. That's not who you're meant to be. And that's not who she was meant to be. So men, there is a lot out there that we still don't know. But let's deal with what we do know. The mother wound the power of the mother wound has to be broken. No matter whether your mom is alive or dead or she doesn't live with you, like I live abroad now. But I have to deal with my mother wound. These apron strings that are holding me to her have to be cut and broken. There is a lot of forgiveness involved. Of course, there always is. And there's a lot of tears of sadness, tears Even that repulsion needs to come out. You might have to punch something again. Yeah, that's good. That's not bad. You're not raging against your mother, not against her heart. You're raging against that darkness, that part of her that's not really her. You know, people in their hearts don't want to do any harm, but we're all damaged. We all have this false self, and we have darkness, and it's all mixed up, and you don't know which is which. What's the real heart, and what's the real motive, and what has she become? So yeah, I'm seeing my mom with new eyes now, beyond who she's become, even physically. She didn't represent that womanhood, that femininity physically too well, because of her own father wound. It's a sad story, yeah. And she latched onto me and my brother to be her boys. And she probably unconsciously was committed that her boys will not grow, because men are scary. You don't want men like that. I want them to be my boys. Because my husband will not give me love, but they will. And this is the sad reality of the mother ones. Man, there is a lot. We need to honor our own masculinity and our mothers by dealing with our mother ones.